Hi, everybody. Welcome to, no, we're not at Inside Scoop with Sue. We're Fridays.
Yeah, I thought I changed that. Look at that. There we
That's
go.
why I'm on here, because I thought I was going to get Inside Scoop with Sue. So that's why I came on. So maybe you'll give me something. So it's Fridays with Sue and Steph. Hope you've had a good week. So Sue and I both, not a surprise, we love words and we hate words. So I think someone just got me a bunch of pencils, Sue. I should show them to you. They have all these funny sayings on them. And one of them says, "I'm silently correcting your grammar." And I thought it was so funny. Anyway, but there are words I love, and then there are words and phrases that I hate. So I thought I would start with a phrase that I hate. And I don't know when it came into play. I feel like it was pre-pandemic, and it really just got upped maybe during the pandemic. So someone starts telling you something, and they go through this whole thing, and you're thinking, yeah. And then they say, "Now, having said that," and I'm like, wait a minute. I just bought in on all of that. So where are you going? So I didn't know there was going to be like a whole other, like my head has already, it's kind of like when someone tells, and you've had this experience with me a million times too, because we meet so many people over the years, and you'll be telling me a story, and all of a sudden halfway through the story, I'm like, wait a minute, who did you say that was? And you'll say it, I'm like, oh my God. Can you go back to the beginning? Because now I've gone down the whole path in my head and rewritten that person. So now I have to hear it again with the right person in mind. So I feel like having said
that. Wait, no, here's the better question. Do you still attribute it to the, like how like it's hard to unwrite? Yeah.
So I try and correct for it, but it never works. Okay. But having said that, I feel like it's like, well, that's not nice. Like you just gave me this whole thing I was supposed to buy into.
Okay, so mine that goes with that one.
Yes.
All of the qualifiers that make you think someone was lying when they go, well, honestly, or they say to tell you the truth. And it was like, don't you always do that? Like, are there some times where you're not telling me the truth and now you're going to actually tell me the truth? And it's just part of our space fillers, and none of us really actually think like, well, to tell you the truth, because I wasn't telling you the truth before. But it is just a funny phrase to put out into the world, because it's kind of like wait.
Well, it's so funny. You know, people always say there are things Sue and I hear all the time at YTM for the last 14, 15 years, which is, I feel like you're living in my head, or I feel like you're living in my house. Now I feel like you're living in my house, because Todd says it all the time. And so I always say to him, oh, great, you've been lying to me the whole time? So it's kind of our banter. No, that's a good one. Now, Sue, you used a word recently. I think it was you. And I'm like, I have to use that. I love that word. It is underused. Unwittingly.
Oh,
I love that word.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
It has, I don't know. There's something very appealing about it. I don't even know why. It is maybe because it's underused, but also it's just.
I think it sounds smarter than it is. Like it really just means like without intent. Like I said, I did it unwittingly. They did it unwittingly, but it does have a little poetic kind of cadence to it that just sounds smarter.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, if you want to sound smarter, we have a few words if you want to sound smarter. Okay, so this word, he did not make this word up, but Ron Lieber shared this word, anecdata.
Can you spell it?
ANEC, data.
Okay.
Anecdata, depending on where you live in the country. Okay. And I have often been accused of doing this, which is anecdata is about a study of one. Basically, it's anecdotal evidence. So anecdotal evidence.
Oh, I never put that together. Okay.
So, well, I don't know if it's true, but
now it is.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. So the idea that like you have a study of one, right? Like you say, well, I would never do that, which I will say a lot when someone comes up with like an idea for marketing. Well, I mean, I would never do that. And, marketing people always really say to me on every time we're talking to marketing people, well, you're a study of one, which is like totally true. But I'm pretty sure that my study of one represents a study of many. And their point is, but you don't know that. And that's what anecdata is. So Ron Lieber said that in an interview, and I was like, kind of like, that's my new favorite word, but I really do have a very favorite word. And when people use it, I just always have this kind of like, I love that word, which is funny because like, it's funny to have an attachment to words, but I love the word oxymoron. I think also because I love what it is. I love like two words that are juxtaposed that don't, they mean something opposite, but they work together. And of course, I'm not going to be able to come up with an example right now. The sounds of silence is an oxymoron, right? Yeah. So, I love the idea that someone can see the world in that way and they can, write or speak or poetry in a way that takes like two opposing ideas and makes it work. Like it's just like, the sounds of silence, which of course, actually there are sounds to silence.
It is totally true. Yeah. It is true. I love the sound of silence. So
oh, look, Kathleen Spencer also loves oxymoron.
Oh, yay. That's a good one. I also love palindrome.
Oh, me too. I was just thinking it.
Seriously?
Because I have a Hannah. Hannah's a palindrome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I always think one of my college roommates, who has an excellent vocabulary and is uber smart, she used to call her niece, when her niece Hannah was born, the palindrome. Yeah. And I love that word. Wait, there was something else you just said about, oh shoot. When you were saying something about sounds of silence, it went right through my head. Oh no, the other thing I love, this is funny. So I don't want to be lost in when I'm reading something and I have too many words that I have no idea what it means. Kind of like what you posted on LinkedIn, or no, you must have commented on your.
Oh, wait, the thing that came out about the court put an injunction on the ban.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
I was like, wait, so it's happening or it's not happening?
I have to do that in my head. I told you
that was the Shaker Library thing. You voted in favor of not having.
No. When we lived, reciprocity. That's a good one. That's a good one.
A nice one. It sounds nice and it is nice.
Yeah. I feel like I've told the story when we lived in Detroit and the casino was on the ballot 25 years ago, and Todd and I each came home. We had each gone to vote. And we come home and I said, "Did you vote?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "You voted against the casino?" He's like, "Yeah, I voted. Yeah, or yeah, I voted no." I'm like, "You voted no that you were against the repeal of the ban of the right?" the way it was worded is so ridiculous, and I'm not good with that.
But actually, I mean, for legislation to come out, for any like legal language to come out like that, and you don't know what you voted for, that is such a disservice. Like, we have no idea what we were voting for. That's horrible.
It's horrible, and I'm fairly bright. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I do get lost in words, but where I was going with that was
but you should be writing for a fourth grader anyway. It doesn't matter because people going to the polls should understand what they're voting for.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. So it happens to me probably once a week. I'm reading something. I'm like, wait, what? But I do love when there is a word thrown in there that I can get a little bit of it contextually, but not quite. And I do love when I am a little bit of a snob in this way. Like, I like watching the news or a show where someone uses a word. I'm like, I got to look that up. Like, I'm a big fan of that. Like, and
then using it in the next sentence.
Like,
you're a big fan of that also.
I unwittingly used it.
Yeah. Look at that. Okay. Here's the other thing. I don't know if you feel this way, you probably have your partner in crime. But if I am hearing someone speak and they say a word that I am sure is not a word, I have like a friend. We always make eye contact. We have the little nod. But the problem with that arrogance is sometimes it's a word.
Totally.
And you look it up and you're like, oh, you can put an inglement on it.
I have one I can't even say on here because it will implicate, you know what I mean? Like, there is a word and it's someone I deal with. And I, for years, did not think it was a word. And then I finally, I'm like, oh my God, that's a word. Now I feel like a real schmo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a fun game to play if you recognize that you're not always right.
Yes.
But there is something like, there's like a little bit of a visceral reaction that I have. Like it almost feels like I had a physical something, like a hit or just something where I could be like, not even listening to the lecture, not even paying attention. The word is said, and I'm like, what was that? What was that? Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I guess when you live enough years and you see enough times when you look it up that it is in fact a word, there's also a certain retreat from the arrogance.
It's so true.
Like that one sounds like it's not a word, but I better look it up first before I smirk.
It's totally true. I have to tell you something. I didn't until I think here's a word snob admission. Okay. I think I did not use further and farther correctly.
Ooh.
I know.
I think many people don't. Okay, so here's the word. Is it homin or honin? And they are both correct in certain circumstances.
Oh.
So who knows? Someone in the chat, tell us, when do you use homin and when do you use honin? Because I look it up. Hi, hello. This is D Munajat. Hello from Bandung. Where is Bandung? Love to hear where you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if there's anybody on here who feels confident to put in when you use homin and when you use honin, I think it's fascinating. But yeah.
No, I was thinking, sometimes I feel when we're looking at each other that we could be on like did you watch Past or $25,000 Pyramid?
Of course, I loved it.
Yeah. I think we would be good at that.
You do?
I do. I think you and I would play well at that.
Okay, like where we'd guess the other.
Yeah, because I think we know each other's tones enough, and I've never heard.
Wait, which
hone and home?
Like you home in on a solution, and you hone in. Yeah, I have to look it up again for the 100,000th time. But anyway, Kathleen, we'll look it up. We'll put it in the notes afterwards, in the comments afterwards.
$25,000 Pyramid. I love that show.
Yeah, no, I watched it. Game shows were so much fun.
Next week, game shows. That's our topic next week. I'm putting it on the calendar. Game shows we grew up with.
Yeah, hone in on a solution or home in on a solution. Kathleen, are you sure it's hone on that one and not home with an M? Let us know. Wait, I think we had one more that oh yeah, this was kind of one that both Stephanie and I like. And I'm not saying this in our business because it will sound like it's an employee kind of thing, but I think it might be more related to a teenager kind of thing. When you ask for something to happen and it doesn't quite go the way you expected, and your kid says, "I did the best I could,"
and it may or may not be related to a spouse.
Anyway, that one, like, why? And is doing the best you can. It doesn't really mean you tried that hard.
And why do you and I both bristle at it?
Because I think I'm starting from a place where I know you could have done better.
Yeah,
and you're lowering the bar to a place that I don't like.
Dinner. That's totally it.
And you're lowering the bar to a place that I don't agree with. Like the bar doesn't go there. The bar goes higher. So when you say that, you have kind of like put out into the universe that there's not one more thing I could do to improve this. But what it really means is a little F you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Back away. I'm doing the best I can, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I think there is a lot loaded into that.
That's fair. Response. That is well said.
Which has probably very little to do with how much effort you put in. Right? Like it's probably unrelated to the effort. Yeah. Okay. So Kathleen she's sure it's hone in on a solution. Thanks, Kathleen. We're going to see when we use home in as an alternative, because I know those are two distinctions. And I personally am going to end on this one. The word the acronym FAFSA. It seems to be there's a speech. I have a friend who's a speech pathologist. I'm going to ask her, because the FAF sounds like faff. Oh, then a snarkly, that's not good enough. Yeah, been there, done that. Okay, so FAF sounds to me like it should be faff and then a sa. So yes. Nolene says, everyone's best is different. Always do your best. Oh, in Pacifica, California. Excellent. Yeah. That is totally
if it meant that, I think soon
I know. Yeah. I'm trying to think about when it comes up. It's not usually because they've done their best.
Agreed.
Okay, so Kathleen works at a university, and it's FAFSA, but so many
Now I feel like
people.
we're on an electric company. Wait, turn your head this way.
FAFSA.
FAFSA.
Yeah, and not FASFA.
Why?
Why? I don't know. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem, both seem hard to say.
Yes, agreed.
Both do seem like they don't, like the consonants don't work well together. But I don't know.
FAFSA is easier for me.
Well, FAFSA. Like it never comes out the other way. Anyway, any one last thing to add, Steph?
That's all you know what, Sue? I'm just doing my best. I don't know.
I've just read the 4 agreements. What does that mean? Nolene, you got to be clear. Unless you know, Steph.
I have no idea what that means.
A book? The 4 agreements. Well, if it's a book, we'll have to read it, but I don't know what it is. Maybe she'll put it in there.
Either.
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued. I think I have to sit here until she puts in her next
All right. So think of another word while we're sitting here.
Yeah, let me think of
Oh.
I have a difficult thing to say. It's okay. That's so nice, Kathleen.
Yeah. Okay. Anything? Let's think. What else is there? There's so many words on the list. I remember. So I was that. I've always loved words. Like I did get a present of a dictionary once, and it's a book. And the 4th agreement is always do your best. Excellent. Okay. I would argue that the context I'm using it in is not probably that kind of encouragement of always do your best. I think it's more of a like a relationship response where there's like a higher expectation, and probably in my house mostly related to kids. So
and I think in my 5th agreement would say, but you weren't really trying.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, because you didn't want to do it to begin with. That's your answer. Yes. Yeah, you didn't want to do it.
Okay.
That's true, Nolene. Really true. Your best is at 7 a.m. is different than your best at 7 p.m. Totally true. How does glass door and glass store? Huh? Eka wants to know, how does glass door? That's good. Glass door, store door. They can sound very similar, Eka. Go figure. Glass door, glass. Yeah, I can't even say them.
What were you going to end it on, Sue? Some word. You were going toward a word.
Oh no, I was just going to say that. Like I have always loved words, and I got a dictionary as a gift one time, and I loved it. And my kids mocked me forever. It went into my marriage for many, many years, and then like someone used it carelessly, and the binding broke. Oh. Yeah, but we play Scrabble and all those word games, so it got used a lot. So I guess if it was in usage and not to destroy my favorite book, but before I was taking the SATs, I did do a lot of studying of words, and I had note cards, not in an external way at all, not like today's like pressure to do better, but because I actually nerdily liked it.
Yeah.
And so I had like the words written out with the definition on the back for a note card. The problem with this story is I got to bellicose. There's a whole lot of letters in the alphabet past that.
You made it like 4%-ish.
Is that what it is?
It's pretty good. You know what? It's better than most people.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Well, maybe not in the way of writing note cards, but maybe in some other way.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody have a great week. We'll see you back here next week. What's our conversation next week?
We are going to talk about word games.
No, TV shows.
TV shows.
All right. Well, we're never going to remember that because that happened 2 minutes ago, and the week is a lot of minutes away. But everyone have a great week. Thanks for being here with us.
Bye, guys.